is no such thing as biopsy spreading cancer. They say that out loud, but they have not even one scientific study to show for that. Whereas I have 50 to show that they do spread cancer. They just believe so strongly and so blindly in what they were told, and they're afraid of the truth because it means that for years and years and years, doctors have been killing people through biopsies. And they always blame it on the cancer instead of on the metastasis that was caused by the biopsy. Be very careful. Never do a prostate biopsy. Never do a breast biopsy. There are better ways. You don't need the mammogram with its own radiation. You don't need biopsy to tell you if it's cancer or not. You can be 99% sure just by doing an ultrasound with a technician who knows what she's doing.
Hey, I wanted to pop on live here and share with you my story of being diagnosed and surviving cancer. Realizing a lot of you maybe not know my background and where I'm from because it's been a minute since I've been diagnosed, but I want to share with you my story of surviving stage 3 cancer and really the underlying purpose and drive as to why I am here every single day, day in, day out, and why I will always be here. Okay, so I've got to share with you my story. It all starts quite a few years ago, 2016. And in 2016, I was the healthiest I had ever been. Okay, so drop a yes in the comments if this is you, because I was the healthiest I had ever been. I had no family history of cancer. I was working out. I was eating right. I was doing well in my career. I had a great social system, great support system. And then I got married. So in September 2016, I got married. Dream boy. Okay, we had been together for a long time. We got married and then we went on a honeymoon. And we went to Italy and Greece for 2 weeks. And we did, what everyone should do in Italy and Greece is that we ate our way through those countries, right? So we had like pizza and wine and cheese, and it was the most amazing 2-week honeymoon. And when we came back, I had gained some weight. Not a big shocker there, considering what I had just been doing for the last 2 weeks. But then I got back into my normal routine. And I have always been super healthy, very food focused, very healthy food. At the time, I was a Team Canada athlete, so I was working out and training multiple times a day, up to 20 hours a week. But even when I got back into that lifestyle, I didn't lose any weight. And if anything, I was gaining weight. And then I started getting really severe heartburn. I had heartburn all the time. First thing when I woke up in the morning, it didn't matter what I ate. I was taking Tums all the time. I had heartburn all the time. So uncharacteristic to me, I went to my doctor right away. I went to my GP and I was like, look, I have this heartburn all the time. And she was like, okay, let's run a few tests and rule out the most common things. And the first thing that she suspected was that I was pregnant. Now, just having come back from my honeymoon, okay, that's fair. But I was not pregnant. And then after all the tests kind of came back normal, she said, let's just do an ultrasound of your ovaries. Because honestly, a lot of things can happen with women's ovaries. Not cancer, totally like just fibroids or whatever. Let's just do an ultrasound. They're easy to get. They're non-invasive. Let's do an ultrasound and see what it shows. Okay, sounds like a plan. Go to the ultrasound, okay? And I could tell that it wasn't right. The radiologist did not come in and see me at that ultrasound scan. But he did say on the way out, wishing you all the best, okay? And I was like, oof, that's not good, okay? So I knew something was wrong, but I waited. My GP had to call me back with the results. And it was Friday afternoon at 4:30, and I was standing in my kitchen, and the phone rang, and I saw it was my doc. So I answered, and she said, I'm surprised you didn't notice anything because you have a tumor on your ovary that's 21 centimeters by 10 centimeters. I had a tumor on my ovary the size of a football, okay? And the only symptoms I had was about 5 pounds of weight gain and heartburn. That's it. I had very minimal bloating, if any. I had no changes in my bowels, my no painful sex, no changes in my period, nothing, okay? So she said, okay, this might not be cancer, okay? You're young. It's a massive tumor. It might not be cancer, okay? So I'm going to get you in with a gynecologist, and then we'll see. So I got in with a gynecologist really quickly, okay? All thanks to me being assertive and pushy. Got in with a gynecologist, and he was this crotchety old doc, okay? He had a reputation for having a poor bedside manner, okay? He came in to see me, and he was like, look, here's what I want you to do. Meet me at the hospital 8 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to get you in for a CT scan, okay? Meet me there, and I will stand there with you and push until you get a CT scan. Okay. Maybe it's okay to have the grumpy doctor on your side, right? Okay, so we go to the hospital the next day. True to his word, he gets me into a CT scan. We wait there for hours. He comes back, and he says, I'm sorry, kiddo, you have cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. So from there, I got picked up by that high-speed cancer train. It took off. The next stop was surgery. I met with my oncologist, and we got ready for surgery. He gave me the largest abdominal incision he could to remove this tumor. He took one of my ovaries, which had been engulfed by the tumor, and the other one, with cancer still in it, he left, okay? Because I was young, because I didn't have kids, he left that one there. Because he was confident that we could treat the cancer just with chemo. Okay, risky move, I know, but that's what happened, okay? So, after I healed up from the surgery, I started chemo, okay? And oh boy, chemo hit me hard. The exhaustion was intense. It was intense. I got through my cycles of chemo. I got to the end, rang that bell, finished. But that's when it really hit me. I hadn't really processed anything that I had been through yet, okay? Now, here's an important part that I haven't told you yet, okay? Before I was diagnosed with cancer, way before, okay, years before I was diagnosed with cancer, my career, I started working in cancer care. When I was diagnosed, I was working at the local cancer clinic where I lived. The people who treated me, the people who poked me to start my IV, the people who took care of my port, the people who did my surgery, my oncologist, these were my colleagues. These were the people I worked with. Now they were treating me for cancer. So I went from being a researcher, a clinician, I have a doctorate in cancer care from the University of Toronto, and I had this great clinical knowledge of cancer, this great research knowledge of cancer, and I went to being the patient. So I truly got this 360-degree view of cancer. So I got to see the clinical side, but I also got to see the patient side. And what I learned from that is that the things I said as a clinician to my patients before cancer were so misguided. Because you can learn so much from a textbook, but until you've gone through it yourself, you don't know. That's why I always say no one truly understands what it's like to go through cancer except for another cancer survivor. Because unless you've walked through the fire yourself, you just don't understand. You don't feel it to your bones like the rest of us do, okay? So when I got to the end of my treatment, I knew all about the drugs. I knew all about the side effects. I knew how to manage the side effects during cancer treatment. So I did okay. Aside from the exhaustion, I did okay during my cancer treatment. But then I got to my cancer recovery. Finished chemo, treatment's done, okay? Good luck. You're cured, right? Cancer free, woohoo, right? Go be well, go live your life, okay? I was really struggling. After chemo, I was exhausted. I had no energy. I would go to work during the day. I would come home, be on the couch, watch Netflix. That wasn't me. That wasn't who I was. I was always this person who was motivated and active and like dove into life. And I was the person that people would come to if they wanted to get stuff done. And I would run circles around everyone else. And now I was exhausted. I gained weight during my cancer treatment. I gained 20 pounds and I could not figure out how to lose it. I had always been active, always ate healthy. Everything I did to lose weight before cancer was not working anymore. Because I was down to one ovary, I was perimenopausal. And the chemo had put me into that perimenopausal state. So now with these differing hormone levels, I couldn't lose any weight. My joints ached every time I stood up from the couch, stood up from my office chair. My joints ached. I looked like I was a 90-year-old lady when I was taking those first few steps. I slept terrible at night. I was drenched in night sweats. But the worst part was that I was scared. I was scared with every ache and pain. Is that cancer? What if my cancer comes back? What if I have to go through chemo again? What if I lose my hair? What will my family do? What if? Okay? I was paralyzed with the fear of what if my cancer comes back. Here is the biggest mistake I made. And I want to share this with you because I don't want you to make the same mistake, okay? The biggest mistake I made through the entire process was that as I was recovering, okay? So I was trying to get back to my old life before cancer, right? How I felt before. And I said to my oncologist, like, look, these are all the things I'm struggling with. And he said, that's just your new normal, okay? That's just the price you pay to be cancer-free, okay? And I thought, I can't, no, this wasn't the deal that I signed up for. I can't do this. So I talked to my friends and my family about it. And they would say, just give yourself time. Just give yourself patience. It's okay. Just give yourself grace. And here's the big mistake I made. I listened to them. I listened to them. I believed that this was just my new normal. I believed that it would just take time and I would recover on my own. And that didn't happen. I spent months waiting to recover from my cancer treatment and nothing changed. I was still exhausted. I hadn't dropped the weight. I was still scared. It wasn't until I actually took action and made changes that I started to feel like myself again. If you want to recover from cancer, like if you want to really close the chapter on cancer, close the door on cancer, you've got to take action in your recovery, in your remission. If you truly want to do everything in your power to stay cancer-free, then you've got to take the next step, okay? And so after going through all of this, working in cancer care, getting my doctorate in cancer care, being diagnosed myself, and then eventually recovering from cancer, I realized that there was a huge need to support cancer recovery. There's a huge need to actually give women help after they finish treatment. Before that point, all of my career had been spent helping women get through treatment, right? Surgery, chemo, radiation, helping them in that phase, okay? But after I went through it myself, I realized, there's loads of experts helping you through active treatment, but there's hardly anyone helping you through recovery. So I totally shifted gears, okay? And now, since my diagnosis, I spend 100% of my time helping women recover from cancer. It is the most wonderful purpose you could ever have. It's the best job you could ever have, okay? Here's why. Because when I see women come back to life after cancer, it's like a light bulb goes on inside of them. It's like they get filled back up with light. Again, it's like their life totally changes. They come back to life. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their eyes. You can just see them light back up to who they are. And that's why I really, really focus on helping highly motivated women who happen to have been diagnosed with cancer get back to being highly motivated women. The women I work with, they're incredible. They are involved in their community. They're raising their kids. They're VPs and execs and lawyers. Like, they are traveling and running marathons. Like, they're just tremendous people. So to surround myself with these women that are just amazing and to help them come back to life and really feel like themselves again and never think about cancer ever again, ooh, that has a ripple effect that changes the entire world, okay? So I absolutely adore sharing client wins. I've been sharing a ton today because I am just lit up about the women and the results they get and how I've been able to use both like my clinical knowledge, my research knowledge, and now my patient knowledge to make those changes. Okay, drop your questions, drop your comments below. I just shared with you my story, my purpose, why I'm here, why I show up online, why I run the programs I do. But I want to hear from you. Drop your questions, drop your comments below. I'm happy to answer. Just scrolling through to grab some. Hi, Kelsey. Welcome. Yes, we need recovery treatment as a whole field of cancer care. Amen, right? Amen. I feel like there's been so much fear around cancer that we focus so much on survival, right? We just want you to be cancer-free. We want you to be alive. We want you to live. And then we kind of forget what happens after that. Like, there are consequences to these toxic treatments. And it doesn't mean like you're forever changed, okay? We do need to restore your health. We do need to work actively to do that, okay? It's not just a matter of time passing. We have to actively restore your health, okay? So I totally agree. Now's the time where we get a shift from solely focusing on, cancer-free status to cancer freedom, okay? Okay, how can I put cancer aside if my ovaries are taken away? Yeah, so this is a great question. So for many women who have had hysterectomies or had their ovaries removed, we need to support your body in a different way because your body is different now that your ovaries are no longer present. Your hormone levels are different. So your body just needs to be supported in a different way, okay? When you're done with treatment, it is so isolating. Amen. It is so isolating, right? Because you go from having this constant support, this hand holding, like almost like you're a child, right? Like you're supported every step of the way to like, see you in 3 months. And you're like, what? Like I'm like a shell of the person I once was, like I need help, right? So absolutely agree, okay? Can't shut up about how much this program works. Oh my gosh, so happy to have you in it, okay? Kelsey, yes. Okay, any advice for triple negative breast cancer patients and the cancer moved to the lungs? Yeah, loads of advice. Loads. Okay, I work with many triple negative breast cancer thrivers because you have fewer treatment options than triple positive, right? Or estrogen positive. So you have fewer treatment options. So what we can do then is we focus heavily on your lifestyle, your nutrition, and your movement to lower your risk of cancer progression or recurrence, okay? Because those strategies work. We only use strategies that are proven to be effective. And I remove everything else. So you're not going to do anything you're not going to waste your time doing anything that's not going to give you results. Okay? So that's the beauty of it. Yeah, I work with loads of triple negative thrivers. Thank you. You are so welcome. Okay. Oops. Okay, here we go. What's your advice to women who can't take tamoxifen due to side effects? So my advice about this is before you totally quit on tamoxifen, come to me. Because the side effects of tamoxifen can be managed, okay? Now, it is a tough choice to decide, should I stay on tamoxifen and suffer, or should I go off of tamoxifen and risk cancer recurrence? That's a tough choice, okay? So before you make that decision, let's first see if we can get rid of the side effects. Because for 96% of women, I can, okay? I have a very high success rate with that. So before you quit, let's talk, okay? So you can DM me for sure, okay? What's the likelihood of having healthy pregnancies in my embryos after breast cancer? That is so individualized to your cancer, your fertility status before cancer, and to the type of chemo you received, okay? So for me, I had 2 pregnancies after cancer. Both of those babies are my biological children. So, I mean, there is hope, right? But absolutely something you have to focus on, okay? For you specifically. Okay. All right, scrolling through, looking for comments, looking for questions. Okay, breast cancer, 3B+++. Currently, Ned, congrats. You say alcohol in moderation. I never drink except for maybe 2 times per month. I want to go back out with friends and have drinks without being one and done. What's the risk if not daily? Okay, so here's the truth about alcohol and cancer. Okay, here's the truth. You know, you can count on me for one thing. It's always to tell you the straight truth. Sometimes you're not going to like it, okay? But I'm never going to lie to you. Alcohol increases your risk of cancer. It did that before you had cancer, and it does that after you have cancer. So a lot of women say to me, like, I want to have a drink, but I've had cancer. And I was like, hey, sister, it was increasing your risk of cancer before, too. Like, you're just more aware of it now. Which, I mean, ignorance is bliss sometimes, but the risk is always there. And it's there for you, it's there for me, it's there for everyone, okay? So now, if you want to still drink, totally get it. So let me give you some data to help guide your decision, okay? We know that women who drink less than 1 drink per day, okay? So less than 7 drinks per week, they increase their risk of cancer by about 9%, okay? So for me, that feels high. That feels high to me, okay? But for you, it might be different, okay? Now, we also know for women who drink less than a half a drink a day, so less than 3 drinks per week, right? They increase their risk of cancer by 4%, okay? That feels like a little bit more comfortable, okay? But here, it's up to you to decide. Your risk tolerance is up to you, okay? Any amount of alcohol will increase your risk, but you've got to determine what risk you specifically are comfortable with. Okay, I hope that helps you. Gosh, I hope that helps. Okay. Did you have hormone positive cancer or triple negative? I didn't have breast cancer. Okay, so I had ovarian cancer. Thanks for the question. Okay. Okay. I had a full hysterectomy along with bowel and colon removal, so I need to concentrate on diet. I too have put on lots of weight. Absolutely, I hear you. You know, those changes to your body, that trauma to your body that you've gone through, that's significant, right? And it's hard, and it's multifactorial, right? Because yeah, you've had surgery restrictions, like you can't move as much. If you're anything like me, you might have done some emotional eating, okay? So that's me. Maybe you were put on steroids, right? Your hormone levels are imbalanced. So all of these things contribute to weight gain. But the good news is that we can get the weight off. Absolutely. Lots of times oncologists will say like, well, you're on these drugs, you won't be able to lose weight. Or if you've had a hysterectomy, you won't be able to lose weight. That's not true. We absolutely can get you to lose weight, okay? Okay, scrolling through. I feel like you're the first doctor and person on Instagram who voiced how I actually feel as a cancer after cancer. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. Okay, is it safe to stop taking hormone supplements after ovarian cancer? Yeah, anything supplement related's got to be individualized to you, okay? Got to be individualized to you. So go back to your team and have that discussion there, or you can apply for a consultation with me, okay? Hi, lovely to see you. I'm stage 2B ovarian cancer with BRCA1. Welcome, sister, okay? I also have stage 3 breast, okay? What is the likelihood of recurrence in terms of time? Yeah, so recurrence really depends on the type of each cancer you have. So even though you're telling me here you have stage 2B ovarian, BRCA1, stage 3 breast, I still need to know more details about the specific type of cancer you had. And that's how we really determine the rate of recurrence, okay? I hope that's helpful. Okay, scrolling through. What will help with the side effects of gemcitabine and carboplatin? Yeah, we can definitely help with that. Unfortunately, it's not like a really quick fix. It's not like, oh, we'll just add a supplement or we'll take away broccoli or anything like that. We have to look at your overall diet, your overall workout. We have to look at your overall lifestyle, okay? That's how we really get rid of those side effects. But the good news is that typically what I'd aim for women with gemcitabine carbo is that they have their chemo day, and then the day after, they would be a quieter day at home. And then after that, they're back to 100%. Okay, that's what I strive for the women that I work with. So if you feel like your recovery after your cycle is longer than that, then we can do better. We can improve it. Okay. Oh my gosh, such great questions here today. Thank you so much for asking these questions. I wanted to pop on here, share my story of how I was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer, how I went through treatment, and how I did with my recovery and my purpose for being here and helping all of you. So thanks so much. I hope this was helpful. Be sure to DM me anytime. I'm always happy to chat. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.